Yeah. Dynamite Delight. Now, here's the thing. Most of the show was pretty bland, even with the matches. What made certain parts very interesting were the segments. Now, this is what I've been talking about for a while, but I do want to also say that even though they have 4 matches here, 2 matches were the best. And that's the first one and the last one. The ones in between really weren't that important and were fine, but they really didn't mean a lot. Now, let's get to all the matches and get them over with. 8-man tag. Now, let's make this very clear. I'm not someone who likes 8 men, 6 men. Well, I don't mind the trios titles, as long as you use them in a certain way. But anything going beyond 6, going to 8, 10, 12, I'm just not interested. You can never 100% see what's going on in the ring or outside the ring. You never get a chance to really see it. Now, here you did see at least enough of the 8-man tag that it wasn't bad. Now, it was the Elite with Ricochet, who... Guys, you tell me below. Sorry, I bumped it. I'm sorry I bumped the camera. But, tell me below. Tell me, do you think Ricochet is a joke now? Do you believe Ricochet is a joke? Because as it stands... They like smacking that bald head. There's only 2 heads on a man, and they're smacking one of the 2. And the way they're treating Ricochet, it's like a joke, a cliche. Like, hey, bald man, we're going to have our fun with you by smack you on your head. And seeing Ricochet working with the Elite and Okada, and then seeing at one point, seeing Ricochet using either Matt or Nick's hair as his own. You could think they could get over on that, counting if Ricochet maintains working with the Elite. But I just don't see it. I don't see him staying with the Elite long. And seeing him doing that kind of implies that he's going to have some type of relationship with them. I don't see it. I see more Ricochet being treated as a joke more than anything else. He had something when he was working with Swerve Strickland. And now he feels like comedic relief. That's what he feels like. And I'm like, then what did Ricochet gain since he came to AEW? Yes, he looked good when he first came and could do more of what he used to do. No problem with that. Yes, he had a good feud with Swerve. But what are they doing with him? He doesn't really feel important. And he should. Because he was one of the more entertaining things they had on the show. Working with Swerve, who is... I'm just saying. And Swerve wasn't on the show. Of course the heels won. I'm not too surprised. They were not going to let all those guys win. Particularly that they wanted to set up the story between Kenny Omega and Okada. And there's no way they're going to let Kenny win at this situation. It's just not the right thing to do. Just not right now. Next match. The Ops versus... Well, I only recognize 2 of the 3 guys, Red Torres and Camarado. They didn't stand a chance. I didn't expect Camarado to do anything, even though he did come back from injury, which I'm glad for him. He was injured. I'm glad he's healed up. But they really haven't done anything with Camarado. Very little has been done on Dynamite or Collision when I was watching it. And I don't even know what they would do with him on ROH TV. So, to be honest, I'd rather see Camarado leave. Go somewhere else. Red Taurus. I'd seen him in NWA. And he was on Impact TV at one point, too. He did go over there as well. I would rather see him go over to TNA. Why not? Maybe he could do something. I'm not saying Camarado should go over there because he could. But then what are they going to do with a large guy like that at the moment when they're doing more stuff like NXT? So I don't think a big guy would really get over other than Moose. At least at this moment, that's the way it feels. They got destroyed. And then the Death Riders came out. And we get Shibata getting nailed. With the same type of chair configuration as supposedly Hook got nailed. And it was made very clear. They wanted to make this important between Joe and Mox. And it was... And here's a problem. Look, you know when you wrestle, you're going to sweat, and you're going to have spit everywhere. But I felt, why was the camera so like this to Joe's face? Instead of zooming back or stepping back, they wanted him really close, and he was spitting everywhere. Now, I'm not a guy that gets upset if a wrestler spits. I'm not. It happens. Hell, look at Sami Callihan. Most of the time, he'll go into his mouth. But that's part of his style. But with Joe, that's not. And you're supposed to give these wrestlers the best look that you can on the camera when they're doing a promo. And of course, there was no way he's going to be able to look great while he's sweating, the sweat coming from his mouth as he's talking, and the spit coming from his mouth. There was no way he wasn't going to look a little sloppy. But being this close? Why? That didn't help Joe's promo. I'm just saying. But now we're going to have a steel cage at, Dynamite Spring Break. Do I believe it's the wisest thing to do? No. What happened to Double or Nothing? Why are you doing this now? Unless this is going to be a DQ, and there's no way. I'm not even wanting to see this here. Why is it being done before Double or Nothing? Double or Nothing's in this coming month. It's only 25 days. Why are we getting a steel cage? Unless I didn't hear them say Double or Nothing, and they're going to do it there, because as far as I know, it's going to be Spring Break, Spring Dynamite Break, or Dynamite Beach Break. Why? That made no sense. Moving on. We got Tasa's Tony Storm versus a Yoshi. I will tell you this. I've seen her on Impact TV. And that's Yomaska. I remember seeing her there. Yes, of course, we've seen her on Always TV. And we have seen her on regular Diamond on Collision. She's done it a couple of times. So she's not too unfamiliar to me. But she's no better than Rio, Emery Sakura, or we haven't seen in a very long time, Hiroko Shida. She's another Japanese wrestler that they will not book correctly. She comes in, she's getting this shot against Toni Storm. If she wins the Eliminator, she gets a shot at Toni Storm over in Double or Nothing, and then either Mercedes or a look. I'm not going to tell you the match was bad, because it was good. It did feel a little longer than it should. Doesn't mean it was bad, but it did feel like it dragged a little bit longer than it should have been. But it doesn't mean neither one of these women couldn't wrestle, because they did. But here's the thing. You're giving me an Eliminator match, which could affect Double or Nothing, which never affects Double or Nothing or any of those shows. They never let this person win. The Eliminators are no better than the non-title matches of the old WWE. And most of the new one right now. You usually don't lose. So when I saw this, I'm going like, she's not going to win. If she did win, yeah, that would be interesting. And that would be a match they could set up in the next 26 days. Nope. And then what do we get after the match is over? You get Jamie Hayter coming out. You get Mercedes coming out first. And all 4 of her titles, which, if you saw the interview, she only mentioned 3 of the 4 titles. She was willing to mention New Japan Pro Strong, Rev, and the TBS title. Why not the 4th one? What's up with that? What, they don't have permission to say anything? But then when she came out talking about Norfolk, Virginia, and then you see Jamie Hayter hitting her in the face, and she's hitting the floor in high heels. I wish they would not do that. I wish they wouldn't do that. Look, Mercedes, I don't think she would break her ankle, but she already had a broken ankle. She's got metal rods and everything in it. I would rather not see women who are in high heels do those type of hits and then lose their balance and fall on their ass where they can twist their ankles. I know it better than anybody. My mother went, let me give it to you like this. my mother was born in 1929. She was born many, many, many decades ago. But I will say this as her son, seeing her when she was in the late 40s, early 50s as a kid, she was still a very pretty woman at her age, over 50, when I was 10 or 11 or 12. And when she was young, she would melt men's minds. But she used to love wearing high heels about this high. And I remember as a little kid, she being drunk, broke her damn ankle on those high ass heels that are like almost stiletto heels. She was the type that would wear. She deck her ass. She deck her ass out, and she got drunk and broke her ankle. And seeing Mercedes, who already broke her ankle, and knowing that women can break their ankles very easily, I don't feel comfortable when they do stuff like this. I would rather see them fall off the heels and fight barefoot. I do not like seeing these women who have these high-ass heels that like this, trying to look sexy, going out there, there's no problem. But seeing them fight, either in the ring or out on the stage, is bad. That one of these days, someone's going to break their ankle by accident or badly twist it. I'm just saying, that's just me. Moving on. Let me give it to you like this. Kyle Fletcher versus Hangman Page. The other match, I felt that was the best match of the night. Now, the 8-man tag, like I said, even though I don't like anything beyond 6, 8, 10, or 12, it was a good match. I won't say it wasn't. The person that looked the best there was Kevin Knight. He looked great. And this was the other match that looked great. And I can tell you what, seeing Kyle Fletcher rip up the back due to the fact of the LED screen that is at ringside, that you can see Dynamite and everything, he got his back cut up pretty good because he got thrown up against it. But he worked pretty well even with the cut. Did I believe that he was going to win? No. I didn't. Because I just didn't believe that, even though it should be him moving to the next round, going up against Kenny Omega, we got the one who's way more popular in a Hangman and Page. There was just no way Page was not going to win here. He's been built to the point now that he must go to the main title picture. He's got to go through Kenny Omega. He's got to go through a Kyle Fletcher. He's going to go through Will Ospreay to face a Moxley. That's the way it looks. But that's just me. Now, let's make this very clear. The best segment of the show was the Hurt Syndicate. Seeing the Hurt Syndicate in the back and people saying we hurt people, and they say, oh, you like the song? And there's like 6 or 7 guys and they say, yeah, we like the song. Well, you know what's better? And they say what? Actually doing it, and all of them just whoop some ass. Seeing a MVP hitting somebody in the gut with his cane and says, damn, I almost broke my damn cane. But they talk simply, hey, we need to talk about MJF. And Bobby is not feeling them. He says, look, and this is Shelton, look, this is not about MJF. This is about us trusting MVP. So they go to the ring, they call out MJF. He does come to the ring. And you got Shelton, you got MJF, hoping it's going to be Bobby because MVP already put his thumb up. Shelton put his thumb up. But then you see Bobby, nope. And he says, do you want some Rogaine on that bald head of yours, you dumb son of a bitch? He doesn't say it exactly like that, but he makes it like that. And you see this small little man get his ass googled by a Bobby Lashley. And you hear MJF screaming for MVP, and Bobby says, we hurt people. Show me you can hurt somebody. So he's basically telling, hey, MJF, shut the fuck up. I don't care about your cars. I don't care about your hoes. I don't care about your money. We are the Hurt Syndicate. We like hurting people. Show me why you should join a company, a group that hurts people physically. And you see MJF just staring like, hurt somebody. This is what we got. We got the Hurt Syndicate trying to put over MJF in a new way. Now, I believe it was Excalibur who said it best. Because Taz said easily, he knows the ins and outs of this company, MJF. But have we ever seen viciousness from MJF? Yeah, he did something with Danny Garcia where he was rough and could be borderline brutal. But we never seen him like the Hurt Syndicate, where he wants to hurt someone, not because he's worrying about his diamond ring or his title or his status. We've never seen him just hurt somebody because he wants to just hurt someone. That is what they're going to try and bring out of MJF. Now, will this work? I don't know if the fans will go for it. Now, it doesn't mean it won't work, but it's going to depend on how they structure this. Look, guys, I love MJF. He is a devil. We know this. He don't give two flips. But in this situation where we have seen him act vicious, but can he act like the Hurt Syndicate, where this is not about money, this is not about a title, this is not about his diamond ring, and this is not about his ego. Can he hurt people flat out just because he wants to? That's going to be the big question. And that's what they just posed to MJF and the fans. Can we see something more from MJF? Will he just destroy? And this is not about anything but wanting to destroy. This is just me. I hope you enjoy this. Please give me a comment below. Peace.